Sports Page, coming to you live from the Bluetick Tavern in Maryville at 92.5 FM and 1180 AM. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Bringing you the best in Blount County sports since 1978. Featuring the Greenfield Gunner, Mike Edwards, former Maryville Scott, Donnie Moore, and from the Daily Times, Marcus Fitzsimmons.
Well, hello everybody, and greetings from the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is not Mike Edwards. Your ears are not deceiving you. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons filling in for the Greenfield Gunner, along with Donnie Moore, and this is the Goteez Sports Page. Now let's set the lineup card, sponsored by the Blount Partnership, the University of Tennessee Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group, and the Murphy's Bobcat SEC Notebook. Lead off with Donnie Moore and myself. We're going to take one more look at Tennessee's season opener and see what's going to happen in Atlanta today, and then we're going to take a little tour around the league to see what all the openers look like on a very exciting opening weekend for college football.
No question about that. It's a beautiful day on Broadway here in downtown Maryville, and I'm looking forward to the show.
Well, I'm glad somebody is. Mike's not, obviously, because he left us for Nashville. But We'll run down high school scores and news from around the area, and then we'll mark it down, sponsored by Mandy B Street Realty. The Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week will be announced, as we'll have special guests from the Maryville football team coming to visit. The Boyd Sports Spotlight shines on what's ahead for Tennessee. And finally, the Shelter Insurance Bold Prediction segment closes the show. And now it's time for the Cherokee Group UT Sports Report and Murphy's Bobcat SEC Notebook with my friend Donnie Moore.
Thank you, Marcus.
Donnie, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm glad to see you up this morning. I know you had
I'm up.
a very long first half at Alcoa last night.
Yeah, it was a long first half. Good grief. Second half wasn't as long. But
well, thankfully, but it was still late by the time you got home and got to bed. So
true, it was. But it's well worth it. Doing what I love.
It was we'll get into it, but SEC play started on Thursday and continued last night. we didn't get to watch. I only got to see a little smidgen of it, but it was still there.
That's right. Well, you were occupied in the kid family press box over at Alcoa with me, so.
It was. You got to quit letting some of those big kids in there, by the way.
No kidding. We need to police that a little bit better.
But the wait is over for Tennessee, and the number 24 Vols open the season today playing Syracuse in the first game of the Aflac kickoff. If you weren't aware, there's a second game on Sunday, and that's where Virginia Tech takes on South Carolina for the second game down there in Atlanta.
Does the Duck travel to both games? I mean, they can make it from Saturday game to a Sunday game. You think?
I think it depends on whatever Mayhem is doing. I don't really know.
Aflac.
Or if I'd assume from the commercials he has to go stop by Nick Saban's house on the way over. So
I imagine you're right there.
I guess it depends if he gets out of there without getting cooked.
Sure.
Let's talk a little bit about the Syracuse game. That kicks off at noon today. It's going to be on ABC as part of that noon lineup across, I believe, 7 networks. So we're going to be kicking off at noon. Tennessee leads the series 3-0. And it's the first meeting by these two teams in 24 years now.
Wow.
It's the third time. And all 3 times that they played, it has been as a season opener. I'll take that back. Twice it's been a season opener.
Yeah. Okay.
The last 2 times it's been a season opener. If you want to go back to that last one, that would have been in 2001.
01. 24
and
years
ago. That was actually just a couple days before 9/11 actually happened, but that start that season, that was the Casey Clausen team, and they came in ranked in the top 10 and left ranked in the top 10. They took a 33-9 win over Syracuse. And the defensive star of that game was John Henderson.
Oh man, was he a beast or what?
And because that was the year he came back to play his senior year instead of going to the NFL.
Uh-huh.
And a couple of the names you might remember from that group, Travis Stevens
Oh yeah.
was the tailback that year,
Mm-hmm.
ran for 111 yards against Syracuse. And then the time before that, that second meeting, there was the first time they played as a season opener. That was the 1998 thriller, where Tennessee came back to win 34-33.
Goodness.
First year
Close
after Peyton Manning, that was the T. Martin team, and that
Mhm.
started the 13-0 run to the national championship in '98.
Oh yeah. Well, remember that.
But Donnie, do you know the first time they played?
I do not, but I'm sure that you have that info available and ready.
I believe you would have probably been a wee lad. But they played in the Gator Bowl on New Year's Eve 1966, and that was a Doug Dickey team
66.
that went down there.
Yep. 10 years. I was 10 years old.
So you were around.
I was around.
You may have listened to the radio on that one.
I'm sure I did.
Had television been invented yet?
It was in its early stages, I
Okay.
imagine, but yeah, it was there. We had a black and white.
Well, I was curious. I mean, it was a different time.
Sure was.
So I'm going to draw a little bit of there's some comparisons to be made to the past times that Tennessee has played Syracuse with what's going to happen today.
Okay.
And one of those things is this will be the debut for Joey Aguilar.
Yeah.
Now, I had not realized this. I knew it, but I hadn't put it in numbers before this week. Joey's the fourth new starting quarterback in 4 seasons for the Vols.
Good grief.
So if you think about it, they started Hendon Hooker in 2002,
That's true.
Joe Milton in 23, and Nico in 24, and now Joey's going to be the 4th starter when he takes the start today. And we've talked about his odd path that led him coming to being at App State and then going to UCLA, thinking he was going to be
UCLA.
over there, and then basically working as kind of a traded in kind sort of thing. It worked out after Nico decided to leave. But I did not realize how many places he had played. So he started at City College of San Francisco in 2019.
Good grief.
Went to from there to Diablo Valley Community College in California for 2 years in 21 and 22. Then went to App State for 23 and 24. Then transferred to UCLA for just the spring semester, and then transferred to Tennessee. So this is a guy who's been around for a while, played a lot of football, and has gone from literally one coast to the other in his football career.
He sure has. You know, he's well traveled,
So
shall we say.
with that in mind, what do you expect from Tennessee today this morning? Or it pretty much is this morning. It's a noon kickoff.
Yeah, it's
Are they-
noon kickoff.
Do you expect them to see them baby him a little bit and insulate him and try to run the ball, or do you think they trust him enough to just air it out, to let him just play hypo ball?
Well, I think that it's going to be a combination of both ideas, Marcus. I think they're going to let him throw it when he can and when it's available, because he's got a good stable of wide receivers. The wide receiver room is pretty deep, and but I think we probably will start out as Tennessee typically does, in a more conservative manner, and try to establish the run game. And if it goes well, they'll probably stick with it.
Now, last time we did a neutral site opener was the one in Nashville,
Yes.
and we saw Tennessee do very much what you're talking about, because the first quarter and a half of that game, Tennessee tried to run the ball hard,
I remember.
and it wasn't always successful
No.
with that. And I think part of that, I think we decided in the post-mortem of what was a win that it was as much to do with some incomplete passes and some turnovers as anything else. But I think it was the last time we saw the Vols take a conservative approach to an opener as far as the first couple of series being fairly scripted out as to what they wanted to do.
Well, that's true. He's just all he's had is practice. He hasn't at Tennessee. He hasn't been in the game time under fire in a game time situation yet. But who knows? You can never tell about Josh Heupel.
You never can, and I think that's going to be the big thing is how much trust they have in him, how much trust Heupel has in him, and what he can go out there and do with that trust.
Well, if anybody can evaluate a quarterback, it should be Josh Heupel.
It should be, but I keep coming back to the fact that he kept wanting to start Milton over Hooker that first year. And the way things turned out, we know where that should have really gone.
Yeah, sure.
And we still went through a game and a half of that. So I'm not 100% certain that the trust between Heupel and the quarterback and the ranking ability is there to stay, but how much of the trust is there for what they give them playbook-wise and what they can actually execute, I think, is where we're going to see if things develop.
Oh, yeah, the playbook for Tennessee is very thick, but I would imagine they probably won't be using all of it today.
Well, I don't know. You've got a veteran guy out there. He's played, I don't know, he's got more schools on there than I attended my whole life.
I agree. Me too.
I mean, he's been places. He's had to learn the system quick. Otherwise, he wouldn't.
You're right.
Nobody else would want him.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And it's not. I will say this: it's not like this will be the first time he's played ACC competition. I don't think it's the first time he's played Syracuse.
Wouldn't be surprised.
So it was his experience at App State. I believe they actually played Syracuse.
I believe they did
last year. So I mean, I think he's used to the competition he's going to see. I don't know if he's used to the weapons he might have, but that can only be a plus.
Yeah.
You would hope
oh, definitely.
From what he had up in Boone. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it happens. I'm glad we're going to be off the air just in time to turn this on myself.
Yeah, we'll sit down and have lunch. And
there's a lot of questions I want to see answered because when Mike gets back from watching those people drive in circles, I'm sure he's going to have questions for me because we know he's not going to be tuned in today. He's going to be walking around, checking out the cars around Nashville and looking to see what they're doing.
We didn't mention this. I mean, well, we didn't tell you specifically, you listeners out there, but the Greenfield Gunner is in Nashville watching an IndyCar race down there. So he's a big IndyCar fan.
He's an IndyCar fan, but I can tease him about this one because because of all the construction for the new Titan Stadium and because of some of the safety concerns that developed after the first couple races in Nashville. This is back out at the Nashville Speedway out off 840.
Okay.
So they are driving in circles just like NASCAR.
Yes, they are.
Maybe not a complete circle, but
an oval at least.
You get my point that it's not the
not
street
race.
It's not the street racing that everybody came to really like about Nashville when they went out there. So Donnie, here's my next question for you. Does it change your thoughts any if we look back at that history and note that the last time, or the next to last time these two teams met, the Vols were in their first game after losing Peyton Manning, starting a veteran guy who hadn't seen a lot of action at Tennessee, and he wasn't perfect, but he did lead the Vols in a game-winning drive to set up a 13-0 national championship season.
This is true. 98.
So where's the bar? What is too much to ask from Joey today? Can he lead a game-winning drive? Can you put that on him?
I think he is very capable of doing that. And under Heupel's system, it's entirely possible that he could and would. But I don't think we're going to need him to do that. I think Tennessee's going to come out of the gate strong and win the game handily.
honestly, I'm concerned about him, but not as much. My main concerns with him are not him specifically, but who he's throwing to.
Yeah.
Which is which is I think the bigger question mark, because that receiver room has been, well,
it's
a lot of,
talented.
they've been doing a lot of spectator work this fall.
Yeah.
With a lot of dinged up injuries.
Yep.
And you've had a lot of, I mean, the good side of that is you've had a lot of those first year guys who've been here since December, who have gotten a lot more work than they might have, but at the same time, you don't have that go-to receiver, at least that we know about. Maybe you do, and we just don't know about him yet, but you don't have that go-to receiver that the fans feel like they're going to look for on 3rd and long.
That's true. The receivers have to prove themselves and make a name for themselves and for the team. So, we'll see how it goes.
So, if you had the tickets, if you didn't have the commitment today, would you have done a mic? Would you have gone to Atlanta to watch this? Are you invested enough for that?
Probably not. I love sitting at home watching them on television and listening to them on the radio, and especially with Mike Keith behind the mic.
You got to my next. I think that is the biggest change for today that Vol fans.
It's huge,
especially the ones, and I know there are establishments around town that probably do this against the rules, but turn the sound off on the TVs and turn on the Vol network and pipe that through rather than
I have done that.
The play-by-play. I know people do that at home. You're not supposed to do it in restaurants. But
no.
I know there are several who do that. I won't name names, but I know you can find that if that's what you way you prefer to watch a UT game.
Certainly.
But you and I were around when we made the transition from John Ward to Bob Kessling.
Yes. And Kessling did a great job, by the way.
He did. We can look back on it from the hindsight of 25 plus years later. But that first year, there was
it was a little iffy.
It wasn't his performance, but he
absolutely
had to
not.
win his way into Vol.
But how do you replace John Ward?
Exactly.
How do you succeed him?
And I think I don't think people have delved into it a lot with Mike Keith. I know he's been very open and talked to people whenever they've asked.
Yes, he has.
At the same time, there's some things about his delivery. You wonder what he's going to incorporate and pretty much establish as a UT tradition, because at the third time it's kind of ingrained.
Yeah.
But what of those phrases belong to Ward, belong to Kessling, or actually become part of Vol radio?
That's true. He'll have
how
to
he says touchdown.
make it his own.
How he says touchdown Tennessee is going to have a huge impact.
Yes, it is
Today, and do not kid yourself. People are waiting for that.
Sure they
Mike
are.
Keith is as much under the
he's
the
under
microscope
the microscope
today as any quarterback on the Tennessee roster.
Yep, you're exactly right.
And
I'm looking forward to his broadcast.
And there'll be some other changes that come on because Brent Hubbs is moving out of the booth. He's moving down to the sidelines. And Mike's going to have Ramon Foster and Jason Swain as analysts.
Okay, well,
so 2 former Vols.
Sure.
Who will be in the, but it's going to be a different dynamic than he had with the Titans, where he had one person most of the time to work with, and he was by far the anchor of the Titans radio. Everybody else was a bit player to him.
Right.
I don't know if that's true at the Vol Network because it's been established for so long, and you've got so many people who have been around there, and he's been there before, when he was a student.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm sure he understands how it works. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how the play-by-play for UT Sports Radio on the Vol Network plays out this year.
Most definitely, I'm excited about how things are shaping up for this season. Not that Tennessee's going to win every game. I don't expect that.
Well, we haven't gotten into predictions. Do you
No.
want to do predictions?
We can, sure.
I mean,
got
we
about-
can do it, and we can
we got
assign
about
Mike.
7 minutes here.
Well, not only can we make up Charlie's pick for him, we can make up Mike's pick for him.
This is true.
And not to leave him out, we can go ahead and pick Caleb's for him, too, and they can all get stuck with whatever we decide.
That's it. That's it. And Tony's maybe. Tony
Well, I
Aruli.
won't do that to Tony because he's got a valid reason. He's
He
got
does.
preseason work to do.
Sure.
Carson Newman's going to open, I believe, a week later than Tennessee, but still working towards the season. I'm assuming they're going to have a busy Saturday.
I'm sure they will. Tony's been out. He's been out watching high school football games too. I've seen him. Well, he was at Alcoa last week for the Maryville Alcoa games.
I think he wasn't the only one.
No,
I think he was just the only one who made it down to the field because he knew everybody.
Only one we saw.
There were
yeah.
quite a few up in the stands, I'm pretty sure. And for those who were not, we're watching the NFH broadcast on one school or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to what's going to happen on the field.
All right.
So one thing that I think has slid under it slid under the radar. At least for our preseason discussions, is Tennessee's offensive line returns one starter.
That's true. They're inexperienced as far as game time minutes go.
And, most of the Heupel era, there were some question marks that first year.
Yep.
Especially with their ability for run block. But he's had a pretty core and veteran group that they've been able to enjoy the last 3 years. And the big part of that in the middle is Cade Mays' graduating.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. He was
So
a
you've
big
got
loss for him.
that you have an All-American center who's moved on. So the only guy back, have you heard who that is?
I can't recall at this point.
That is junior tackle Lance Hurd.
Lance Hurd, yeah.
Do you like how I did that?
I did. I like
Okay.
that.
He started
Go
11
smooth.
games at left tackle last year. So this is his second season with Tennessee after transferring in from LSU. But the guy with the most game experience, it's not game experience with Tennessee, but the most game experience is Wendell Moe Jr. He transferred in from Arizona.
Uh-huh.
He's a redshirt junior. He started 27 games at Arizona. Had over his 1,700 and change snaps.
Wow. He has.
So
he's
he's
definitely
he is
seen been in the fire.
So I think you've got some experience there, but you've got another transfer from Notre Dame, redshirt sophomore Sam Pendleton,
Yep.
and a redshirt freshman in William Satter, or Satterwhite. They're battling for the center job, and I don't feel I saw indications they had a favorite, but I don't think anybody has outright won that job. I expect the quarterbacks to have as much to do with that as anything else.
I'd say you're right.
And then you've got David Sanders Jr., who's the five-star offensive tackle, who will maybe it happens today, maybe it's later this season. He's probably going to be the first true freshman to start on the offensive line at some point this season, I would expect.
More power to him.
He's a beast. He's got the size.
Yeah.
It's catching up to UT's way of doing it to make those adjustments, but that's the thing. I don't think we've really. I just don't think people have talked about that enough because that offensive line has just been a given for so long.
It really has. Ever since the days of Coach Trail and Coach Hersbrun.
Well, there's always been a high level, but like the only time we've talked about that offensive line has been their trouble with road noise the last 3 years.
Gotcha.
Which has been fairly consistent that they've had trouble in very loud stadiums. There's something about their operating system that doesn't translate well to that. And maybe that was one specific person. Maybe it was just the operational system for signals that they were using. But usually there wasn't a question if UT tried to run the ball that they were going to get blocks the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's still true is something else we're going to have to find out today because We've had this discussion over the years. You can't be a very good quarterback if you're sitting on your butt because you got knocked down.
That's true.
And
I've heard Coach Trail say so many times it's hard to throw the ball when you're looking up at the sky.
So, if Joey's laying on his back, it may not be his fault if the pass is incomplete in that situation.
True that.
And if the running back is getting hit before he gets back to the line of scrimmage, that's also going to be a sign that the problem may not be any issues that crop up today with Syracuse may have as much to do with Tennessee as it does with anything the Syracuse defense does.
That is exactly right, brother.
But I know we're going to go into a break here in just a second. Let me close out this UT opener part with this note. They're playing in Atlanta today.
They are, the ATL.
So outside of the state of Tennessee, Georgia is the most well-represented state on the Vol roster with 20 players. Wow. 15 of those are from the greater Atlanta area. So this will be a homecoming and a chance for those guys to be trying to beg, borrow, and get some tickets from some teammates to hand out because they're going to have a lot of demands for
show out
from friends and family who are going to want to get their chance to see them.
Most definitely.
And then my last throw out, today's guest captain for the Vols is Al Wilson.
All right.
He's going out.
He's a monster.
5-time Pro Bowl selection, 2-time All-Pro selection with Denver, who actually got a win over Syracuse back in '98 with those.
Yeah.
Had 13 tackles, forced a fumble, a sack, and a tackle for loss in that win.
What a game.
But he'll be on hand today as the guest captain for Tennessee as part of that Aflac kickoff.
That's good.
But I guess you're telling me because you're giving me that little finger roll, we'll take a time out here, and when we return, we'll run down the Mandy B. Street Realty Prep scoreboard and mark it down. You're listening to the sports page of Blount County Sports Voice. And now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925. Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
And welcome back to the sports page. And
the Goteez sports page.
The Goteez sports page.
Yes,
I know.
most
Let me
definitely.
make Brian Johnson happy. We're going to head into the prep segment this morning with Donnie Moore. I know you were sweating last night working through the long list of taps on the phone trying to collect all the scores from around the area. Donnie, you've got your little list and you've checked it twice, so I want to hand it off to you to get us started with the prep scoreboard.
I appreciate that. Prep football week number 2 already. We're already 2 games into the season, and it was a good week last night for local teams anyway. Everybody won.
I could not have been happier. I got
too.
back to the office and the scores started coming in, and Josh Lane and I did a high five, and we realized we didn't have a single loss in the bunch.
No.
And which immediately made us, we're sports guys, so immediately
That's
we
true.
started talking about when's the last time this happened.
Yeah. I
And
tried to figure that
we
out
could
as
not
well.
come up, I don't think we came up with a week recently.
No.
Maybe
There's not been one
maybe there's
recently.
been one we forgot about, but I think we went back at least 3 years before we thought we found a week where everybody won.
I think you're right. Well, let's get to the scores of the area for last night and Thursday. Some of the games played on Thursday, of course, because of TSSAA regulations and restrictions.
Yeah, let's go ahead and mention that.
Yeah.
We have had this for a year or two now. I think this is the third season.
I think you're right. It's third season.
But the TSSAA mandates certain amounts of games we played on Thursdays because the shortage of officials that takes place. And to help manage that, this year they set the region schedules.
They do. You're
before
exactly right.
Before there was some work within the local regions as to working things out and finding the open dates for rivalries. No more.
Nope.
TSSAA made the region schedules, and you had to work you could put in requests for open dates to help work it out, like you wanted to keep your game with Maryville, but they were going to mandate when you played, and they're also mandating the day of the week.
Right.
So, especially with 1A and 2A teams, we are seeing a lot more of those games being moved to Thursday. And it's not fairness is not involved here. So you're seeing a lot more of those smaller games move to Thursday than you are seeing 6A, 5A games move to Thursday. And that is nothing to do with the schools. Well, very little to do with the schools. It's happening occasionally for TV, but in general, TSSAA is making that decision made that decision several months ago as to when this was going to happen.
The autonomy of making schedules is a thing of the past as far as region schedules goes in Tennessee.
It isn't that.
At least for now.
If your region schedule, we're going to hope it doesn't end up costing anybody a rivalry somewhere down the road, because that will probably mark, when that happens, it'll mark the end of this little system and experiment. But
any game that's
for the moment, just because of the shortage of the number of people willing to serve as game officials, and it's a nationwide problem, not just a Tennessee problem, but because of that shortage, it's required them to manage the scheduling just so they have enough officials available to work all the games.
Yes, you were talking about games being affected. Any game that starts with the battle of at least, does not need to be affected.
That is absolutely true.
All right, last night, week 2, Alcoa High School hosted Bearden last night, another 6A school for the Tornadoes. They played a 6A school last week. Played one last night, and little different result last night as far as the margin of victory goes. Alcoa wins this one 63-13.
And it wasn't even that close.
No, it wasn't.
You and I were both at that game, and you did a wonderful job on the PA last night.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
If you're an
that.
Alcoa fan and you always wonder who that voice was coming out of the loudspeaker, that is our own Donnie Moore who is doing that call.
It's fun to do.
And I won't leave out that the Dunkels are still involved. And
yes, they
are. They changed stations. They're over at Jack now.
Yeah, they're in
but
Jack FM.
They are still in NFHS and have their YouTube. And Heath and Scott are friends of the show after helping us out.
Indeed.
But, I looked. We saw 2 big plays last night that hurt Alcoa defensively. There was a halfback pass that I will give Bearden credit for. It was very well timed.
Oh, well executed.
Very well executed.
Yes.
They had to get 2 guys to bite, and they both bit on run support and came up.
Yeah.
Left one receiver behind everybody, and it was a 45-yard touchdown play.
That's true. That was a great play from the Bulldogs.
Then you had a screen pass that everything that could go wrong for Alcoa, and they were not all the Alcoa starters out there when that happened.
No.
But because Alcoa had almost a mercy rule lead at that point. But it turns in, it's third and 10, and it goes for 80 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
But of those 125 yards that were picked up in those 2 plays, accounted for half of what Bearden did offensively.
Wow.
They had 248 yards of offense after having 256 yards passing.
Yeah, they threw the ball well.
They netted -8 yards rushing against Alcoa. Now, not that they tried to run it all that much, but
with a sophomore quarterback, I thought he did a good job.
He did, but for as much as Bearden threw it, I mean, he had a respectable night, 19-28 with 1 interception. But I say that set up that Alcoa is dangerous. I think.
To say the least. That's putting it mildly.
Okay,
Marcus.
so you've got two 6A teams they played. They played keep away to win and ran like nobody's business to beat Maryville a week ago. Bearden obviously saw that tape because after the opening drive, and let's give credit to the Alcoa defense, first play of the game, they take the ball away.
Get a takeaway.
I believe that was Cade Stinnett, right?
It was.
Gets the fumble recovery there.
So after that, what does Alcoa do?
Alcoa runs it 4 times and gets a touchdown. After that, the rest of the game, Bearden had 7 to 8 defenders in the box. They were not going to get beat the way that Alcoa beat Maryville.
Right.
So Thomas Manu threw all over him.
Oh, he was incredible.
And
another incredible game by the Alcoa QB.
And then when he's the lead is so big at halftime, he's sitting down and Luca Darty comes in and I don't know how you outdo what Manu did, but statistically
he held his own, didn't he?
He did. He was 4 of 4.
Yeah.
And got a touchdown, which you're like, okay, it's the backup coming in. It's kind of mop-up time. But he was playing against Bearden starters for the most part.
He was. Like you said, it was 56-13 at halftime.
Yeah. And Manu, I believe he missed one throw, 16 of 17, 260-something yards and 6 touchdowns.
6 TDs. Good grief.
And threw to 6 different receivers, and 4 different receivers caught touchdowns from him.
That's true.
It wasn't one guy going off and getting what. No, this was the whole group. And
talk about a deep stable of receivers.
And showed off showed off all the throws.
Oh, yeah.
Two fades into the end zone that were just pretty.
Mm-hmm.
One that was a dink over the middle and let the receiver do the rest of the work. A go route to Jameer Dean right down the middle that just came in over his shoulder.
He's got such touch on the ball.
You know, a time thing where he bought the extra second or two and then flips it over to a screen with a wall set up that just let the receiver do all the work. I mean, Alcoa used everything and made Bearden look bad. I don't think Bearden's as bad as they looked.
Oh, I don't think so either.
But
they've got some talent.
This Alcoa, I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to defend this Alcoa team because I don't know what you do. You can't.
Absolutely.
You can't stack up against the run, and you can't lay off that run with that offensive line because they'll push right over you.
They have so many different ways they can burn you.
And you know, I like this Alcoa team, and I think I told you this last night. We can't credit some of this because it goes back to last season, but going back to that Ravenwood loss that opened last season, Alcoa's beaten 4 6A teams in a row.
Yeah.
They've beaten Bearden twice and Maryville twice.
Goodness.
So, and luckily, not luckily, but they didn't have to schedule any more 6As this year because they actually have a full region schedule.
Yeah, I have 8 teams in the region.
So they get to go in the region play next week.
Go to Gibbs. Yeah, that's where they go, and we'll get to that in just a minute.
Well, go ahead and hit that, and then we'll move on to the next game.
Sounds good. Alcoa travels to Gibbs, which, like Marcus said, is a region contest next week. Gibbs last night defeated Halls 24-21, so a close game for the Eagles.
That's a bit of a rivalry game out there.
It is. It has to be.
That's one of those Knoxville games that only the people out there realize how much that one means.
Yeah, you're right about that. But it'll be Alcoa's first game on the road next week. We'll see how they prepare and how they respond.
First road game, first district game in 4A.
Yeah, that's true. 4A, that sounds foreign to me, but it is true. Moving on to next game on the list today, Thursday evening's contest with Eagleton versus McMinn Central. Eagleton hosts McMinn Central, and Eagleton comes up with a win, 23-18. So,
in a rally.
Congratulations. Yeah.
In a rally.
Okay.
Central had them down 16-0 at half.
16 to zip?
To 0 at half. They had one big bomb play and then had a decent drive in the second quarter, went for 2 both times.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a 16-0 lead, and Eagleton just I don't know if Coach Childs had the best halftime speech. He says it wasn't him, but he said basically they quit making some dumb mistakes, and once they quit doing that, they were able to score on the Chargers. But you know, big third quarter, Eagleton scores 3 times.
Goodness.
Problem they had was their extra points, PATs weren't going their way, so they actually get the lead 18 to 16 or 19 to 16 rather. But then have to stand it off and get things going, and when you're playing that two-way ball, every little thing matters, and they were able to hold on and get the win.
Sounds great.
And that's what you got to do.
Oh yeah.
Is when nothing else is working, rely on that defense, and I think that's what they did.
Well, as a result, the upshot is that Eagleton wins 23 to 18. They host again next week. Providence Academy comes to town over to Eagleton to take on the Royals.
And that's the makeup game. That's who filled the hole that was left when Kings Academy decided not to play.
All right, good.
That was one that got scheduled here just this month, really. They got that put together.
This last game, or last night, I guess it was, or maybe Thursday, I guess it was. Providence Academy scores 42 in a win over Cannon County, so they can put some points on the board.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting. I think Providence is still a fairly young program.
Yeah,
and
where
it'll be nice for Royals to play.
Johnson City.
It's up in Johnson City.
Okay.
That be nice for the Royals to play a team that is as young as they are as program-wise.
Right.
To a degree.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll put them on more of an equal footing, where they can compete, and I hope they do. Moving on to our next game on the list, Greenback hosted Cosby last night, and this one was a barn burner. 13-12, Greenback is your final score.
Yeah, and if you were watching this in the first half, Greenback gets the only score of the first half and leads 7-0 going into halftime. Then
wow,
you get Cosby scoring in the third quarter. Pretty much their opening drive of the third quarter.
Yeah.
But they don't get the point after the kick fails, so they're trailing 7-6. Cosby takes the lead after a big long drive. After they were backed up within the shadow of their goal line, they went 87 yards, take the lead, and lead it 12-7.
Goodness.
And then Greenback scores with 18 seconds to play on the Elliott Lindsay run to take the win. And
so you got your money's worth if you went to Greenback.
And it wasn't an easy. It was a 65-yard drive. Took 7.5 minutes.
Ooh.
But they ran it 14 plays. I don't think we see Greenback do that a year ago.
No, I don't think that's possible a year ago. So
I think that drive in the fourth quarter may prove to be huge for the Cherokees down the line.
It may be an early turning point in the season.
And that's not to say they're not going to take some lumps, because this region has shifted a little bit, and some of the standings right now are a little deceptive, like Coalfield being 0-2. But Coalfield's lost to a 4A and a 5A team by like a score both weeks. So don't let that fool you. Coalfield's not gone anywhere. But I think you've seen Midway and Oakdale are both making strides. So I think we could see some things from that. My point is Greenback can I think they're capable of grabbing a playoff spot from what we've seen, but it's not going to be easy.
No, they'll have to struggle a little bit, but you could be right on the nose right there. Greenback wins it 13-12. They host again next week in a region contest with Midway.
And that's going to be it's a must win.
Yeah, Midway lost their game last night 21-14 against Jackson County. So Midway needs to win one.
Well, Midway needs a win, but they see themselves as a contender, as a playoff spot. And
Green Wave.
when you have an 8-team region, it's hard to say that you start a must-win in week 3, but it's a must-win for. It's a separator for Greenback.
Already started. Having must wins in week 3. Moving on to our neighbors across the county, Heritage High School. They traveled to Scott Cup University.
Let's not
night.
call it that yet. Cup's only been there a couple months.
CAK, yeah, I know, but they, like you said earlier, we were talking. You said the students would get to know him very well and very early.
I think this ended up being one of the best happenstance meetings that could have happened, because it allowed Scott Cup and Robbie Bennett to continue their social media video,
their pregame banter,
and it carried over from when the Cup was at William Blunt.
Yes,
and he's not the athletic director; he's student life director.
Yes.
Over at CAK now, but I was delighted to see him the first video shot go out at Heritage earlier this week, and I was even more delighted to see Robbie's reply.
Me too.
I'm saying I'm that wrong. I think Robbie actually took the first shot in this one but
fired across
I
the bow.
believe the AV folks at Heritage may have gotten involved and inspired him.
I think
I'm
you're
not
right.
blaming Mackenzie Sherman,
they've
but I think she
stepped up.
had a hand in this.
I agree. I think you're right about that.
At least according to Cup's version of this story.
Yeah.
But anyway, it turned into a great game.
Heritage wins, by the way, 28-21. Great game, like you said.
And Heritage defense stood up after they get the go-ahead score to start the fourth quarter, about a minute in, and Mountaineers defense made it stand up.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to rally. They were down at one point in this game. They're trailing 7-0. Then they're trailing 14-0, and then they tied up by halftime at 14-all. So, CAK may not be the team that's playing for state championships every year, but they're still a good program.
They sure are.
That's a good win for Heritage going into 4A play.
I agree. Moving on to our next contest. Let's where Heritage goes next week. They host again. They host South Doyle, which is another region contest. South Doyle won last night, 31-21 over Carnes.
And South Doyle hasn't been beaten. They're 2-0.
Yeah.
Of course, Heritage probably could be 2-0 if their game on Saturday had not been rained out over at Clinton. And I hope that loss of that game doesn't come back and bite them in some weird way. But from what we did get played in the first quarter, I think Heritage was going to take that game very easily.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned Clinton, and I'll tell you about them in the next segment, or the next two segments. Next up on the list, Maryville, coming off a big loss to Alcoa in week 1, hosts Knox West, perennial power in 5A, and absolutely took West to the woodshed last night, 48-7 Rebels.
I'm going to tease a little bit. Starting next hour, we're going to have some Rebels come on here and talk about that
definitely.
win. So I don't want to talk about it too much right here, but at the same time, among the other casualties of Saturday's weather last week was the Knox West Bearden game did not get played.
True.
So I don't think people really understood or knew what to expect with West and Bearden, and it did not look like the powers that we are used to. Neither team came with the caliber that we thought they might have.
Yeah.
Now they've had a lot of stuff that went on in the offseason, but I wish that game had been. There are several games I wish had not been moved to Saturday night last week because of what happened with the weather. I wish they'd been Saturday afternoon so they could have been played. And I think that was one of them where we might have had a little bit of hint had we seen them on TV and known what to expect.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Well, next week Maryville travels, hits the road, and goes to Bearden. Bearden smarting from that whipping last night by Alcoa. They may give Maryville some trouble.
Well, and like I said, they didn't get to play that opener, so last night was their opener. And that growth from week 1 to week 2, especially when you get stung by a smaller school like that, I expect there to be some growth going on one way or another.
I agree 100%. Bearden, like you said, lost 63-13 to Alcoa last night. William Blount drops 59 points last night on Austin East. Of course, Austin East, 3A school.
3A school.
3A
school.
Yeah.
They're still in 3A.
They're still 3A. Former opponent of the Tornadoes. But William Blount scores 59, Austin East 20. Another big victory for the Govs.
I was looking.
And it was at Austin East.
It was at Austin East, and they've won there before.
Yes, they have.
But Jackson Dabrowski had another great game.
Good player.
And he just continues to get better every week with what he can do, and for Coach Reeves. And I'm not sure. I don't think this will hold up, and that's not against the Govs, but it's just the strength of their region that they are in. But for the second week in a row, the top of the standings in Region 2 5A is William Blount at 2-0, having outscored their opponents 108-20 over the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah, that's a pretty great discrepancy right there in scoring.
And well, it's not just the scoring, but they're the only 2-0 team in that region because Powell didn't get to play week 1 because again, weather on Saturday, and then Knox West didn't get to play, and then they came over here and lost. And then you've got Carnes Halls and Campbell County who are all 0-2 at this point in the season. Now, that granted, they've played some good teams, but
they have.
I'm looking at this and thinking, William Blount's in contention.
They really are. At least
even when region play gets started, and they've got to play Powell, and they've got to play West, and they've got to play Central. They're going to be in contention.
They are. And speaking of region play,
and the good thing is with 5A, if you get that 4th playoff spot, you are not going to Maryville.
That's true. That's true. Like I said, speaking of region play, William Blount hosts a region game with Clinton next week. Clinton lost to Oak Ridge 42-13 last night. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe the Govs start 3-0.
It's been a while, but not all that long ago they had a start like that.
That's
it's been
true.
4 years, so.
Yeah. And then our final score of the morning, Seymour defeats Pigeon Forge on Thursday 17-8 and travel to Cocke County this upcoming week, who won 23-12 over Gatlinburg
No,
Pittman.
they lost to GP 23.
Lost to GP, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have that down.
And
I just
it got very confusing because Seymour and GP played the opening week, and then GP played Cocke County week 2, and Seymour was playing Cocke County week 3, and all those numbers just kind of got jumbled together a little bit. But it's good first win for the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm glad to see them win one.
You played county rivals 2 weeks in a row, which I don't think anybody tries to do that. But we talked about scheduling. So I think it's good for them to get the rivalry win, at least one of them, because the GP one didn't work out. But you don't want to give up ground to Pigeon Forge, and getting that one matters.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for the Mandy B. Street Realty Local Focus for this week. I'm going to toss it over to veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons for his feature, Mark It Down, after I tell you that you're listening to WKCE 92.5 FM and 1180 AM, Mid-Century Radio.
Well, thanks, Donnie. And we've kind of marked it down with what we've done to this point. And so we're going to go ahead and turn the page and announce the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week when we come back in the next hour. You're listening to the Goteez Sports page, And now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net.
And welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern here in beautiful downtown Maryville on a false fall Saturday. And Donnie, I'm just going to say for the folks out there, because we've seen a couple of them walking down the farmers market this morning, don't get used to this. It's not true.
No, we still got summer
we
left
still got
in
some
the
90,
tank.
we still got some 90 degrees days coming. Just enjoy this one while you can.
No kidding.
This is Marcus Fitzsimmons. I'm filling in for Mike Edwards. And along with the rest of our broadcast crew, it's time for the Sports Page Player of the Week, sponsored by Anderson Lumber Company, where quality service is always a priority. Proudly serving Blount County for 100 years.
A 100-year-old business. Imagine that. How many of those do you see around here?
Well, when you do what Anderson does, you can hold
sure
on.
Can.
We're joined this morning by a couple of Maryville Rebels who we were discussing just before the break. Big win over Knox West last night. And want to thank these guys for getting up to join us this morning. We have Andrew Smith and Wyatt Wilbur. Guys, from a defensive perspective, I don't think you get a much better effort than what y'all got last night against West as a whole defense. Did you come into this game expecting you could have that? I mean, you don't have any tape on these guys. They didn't play last week. I mean, you're looking at what players from a year ago. So, I mean, did you think you could have this kind of success shutting these guys down?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did. From the little film we watched, I think we did. From the little film we watched on them, I mean, they're a good team, but we had them after last week. We had the mindset that we're gonna come in and we're gonna really beat them.
Yeah, I agree. Right after last week, we came in with a different mindset, and it paid off.
So I'm going to recap for the folks who did not see this game last night. They may have been watching something else. Maybe they were watching the SEC. Maybe they were tuned in to watch William Blunt or something. But so the Maryville record book got rewritten last night, Donnie.
Oh, that's not surprising at all.
And I'll brag on those guys a little bit, but 48-7 win over Knox West. Will Jones throws for 5 touchdowns. Torrey Beaufort rewrites some of the school single-game receiving records. And this comes the week after. We're not going to mention that team, but you guys know what happened a week ago. What happened Monday morning? You all come in. A lot of times coaches tell us that a big loss is a bigger teacher than any win you can get. Was there stuff you all knew coming in Monday morning you didn't know before last Friday that impacted how this week progressed?
I mean, the big thing for us was just reset. It's don't worry about the game. Don't worry about that game. we played good. We didn't play the best we could have. But, I mean, Coach Hunt was just reset, put it behind you, learn from what we did wrong, and I think we did learn really well.
Yeah, I think coming in from Friday, we still had our heads high. We didn't let off, and throughout the week we had a really good week of practice, and all the emotion was up and everything, and turned out.
You know,
good.
because some of your, I mean, it can happen. You go into practice on Monday and guys are deflated. Was that?
No, sir.
Were people ready to were they able to reset and get ready for the rest of the season?
Yes, sir. We were ready. We were ready on Friday or Monday.
I know this team does really well at one thing, and that's flush in advance. Don't look back on the last game. You just concentrate on what's ahead and prepare for it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I know you guys are on the other side of the ball, but Andrew, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit about this. I suspect you've had to defend Torrey in practice some.
Oh, yeah.
So
We both have to.
were you I won't say surprised, but nobody goes into a game expecting to have the kind of night he has. Were you guys cheering for? I mean, what was it like watching him out there as he started making some of those catches and plays?
Honestly, it's just you come off the field after making a stop, and then you look up and you see him just throw the ball up, and there's Torrey just running down the field. It's I love watching it now. We don't get as long as a break as sometimes we want, but I love watching him play. After I was hoping a bigger game for him last week, but I think this week he showed that he's one heck of a player, and I love watching it.
So he doesn't get penalized for making you guys come back on the field really quick. You know.
No, I like it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if you weren't familiar with it, Torrey Beaufort, is it Beaufort? Is that how he says it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, transferred in here from Bearden, and second game as a Maryville Rebel. So 6 receptions for 208 yards, 4 touchdowns. The 4 scores in a single game, or 4 receiving scores in a single game, tied what Kyle Harris did against West in 2000 and what Kelby Brock did in 13 and 15. And
What a game.
his 208 receiving yards broke the all-time record, which is at 185, which Brock had set against Jefferson County in 2015. And I remember that game, and he was a force in that game. And I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew that Brock had broken that in 2015. I hadn't realized that Maryville receivers had pushed Tyler Maples down to 4th on that list for single game performance, which still shocks me. But just a huge effort for him. And the thing that still, I have a hard time putting this together because prototypical, you're thinking of a 6'3" big receiver, and Torrey's 5'7", guys. I mean, you have to have a knack to be able to get open when you have that. You do not have that big size advantage we think of. What does he do? Does he like trip safeties? What does it? What does he do?
He's really quick on his feet. He knows how to get around you. And
is he one of those guys that's just elusive that has that knack to avoid hands?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, he is. He moves well, a lot better than honestly anyone I know. Guarding him in practice is a struggle, I would say. And, I mean, it's obvious when you look out onto the field and you see teams trying to triple cover him. So he's just really good.
And when he gets the tiniest of bits of daylight between him and Will Jones, Will is an outstanding quarterback. He's a very heady quarterback, and he knows he leads well, he times well, throws well, got a great arm.
And we saw that.
We sure did.
I mean, we saw that at Goddard Field a week ago, and
Yeah.
you and I were working that game. And I'm just impressed with what you all are able to do offensively. And we say stones against stones sort of thing. Offenses don't get that good without working against a good defense, and
Absolutely
defenses
not.
don't get better if their offense isn't pushing them in practice. Do you all have a lot of competition between the units? Is there a lot of talking that goes on during a given week?
I would say there definitely is. I know every week we do ones-on-ones. We go first offense versus first defense, and I would say I think the defense is up on the offense a lot more. I would say we beat them a lot, but it's good competition in practice, just playing against them. So that it helps us and it helps them.
Yeah, it's great looks on both sides. I mean, competition going against each other, it's gets you better.
So what would I think I'm going to get two different answers here, Donnie, but I'm going to test them.
All right.
So what is the more impressive stat between you two guys from last night? Is it that West ran nearly 40 times and couldn't get 200 yards, or was it that they only managed to throw for 2 net yards? Which was better for you guys?
For me, I think it's the throwing yards. That's as a safety. I think that matters more to me. I would say I love being able to come up and make tackles on the run. That's something I like to do. So I think it's the passing yards for me.
Yeah, for me, I feel like it's the run, and I'm the opposite.
As you said.
Yeah, just being up there in the box and having all those runs coming to you, it's pretty fun getting into it.
And you got, I'll ask you this, and it's probably not fair, but that's never stopped us before, because you can't really speak for Torrey. But being a guy who came in here from Bearden, this is his old rival. This is his Maryville-Alcoa game as far as what he has experienced for the first 3 years. Was he fired up because of who this was last night? Was he was he really up for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say he's always ready to play. I'd say a big thing for him is he doesn't get too high on his feelings. It's after he scored, I guess his third touchdown. I mean, you see him walking down the sideline. He's just walking down the sideline. It didn't matter to him.
All business.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So, I'm obviously we know how the opener went. It's not going to put you guys at the top of the region. You're not going to recover from everything in 1 week. But I'm looking at this morning in the way the region is stacked up. I do not think anybody in their mind, if you had asked them 3 weeks ago who's going to be top of the region before we go into region play, I do not think Hardin Valley was on the top of anybody's list in this region. But yet the Hawks are 2-0 and have outscored the opposition 79-25. They're on top of the region standings. Oak Ridge is right behind them, and then it's Maryville at 1-1.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction right here. That's not going to last long.
I do not think so. I do not think so. But we get into region play next week. So, guys, we were talking the last hour that it was very disappointing for a lot of people that West and Bearden didn't get to play Saturday because of the weather. They didn't get opener. Y'all don't get a lot of film to look at anybody. But does it have kind of an impact? I mean, we don't compare scores, but let's compare scores. Bearden and West are supposed to be powerful teams, and you just watch the guys that you all were in it to the last play with hammer Bearden at the same time that you're hammering West. Does that give you some confidence going into this week that this is a team you can open with?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. I think we're going to come out there and play as good as we can, and I hope we beat them pretty bad. So that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I think that gives us a big confidence boost in what we do, and yeah, I think this Friday coming into it, we're going to have some high hopes.
And I don't want
a lot of confidence. I know you guys well enough to know
I don't want to pick on that maroon and aluminum team that we were with last night. However, they have a similar situation. They have a few transfer students from Bearden who left during the offseason. Some unfortunate moments that took place in the first half of that game, 2 or 3, that seemed very much fueled by former teammates competing against each other.
I think you're right.
So I just want to toss that to you guys because you've got a big bearded player who's going to be seeing some teammates. Is it's kind of like I said, there's how do you kind of tap some of that down and keep it under how do you keep yourselves under control if things get because there were moments in Maryville Alcoa game where things could have gotten a little bit weird.
Good.
But is there a way
Huge
that, like, who is the guy on the sideline that keeps everybody in line? Who's the control factor, the get back coach, the keep everybody on the even keel guy?
I would say Coach Hunt is probably the biggest one. He just says at the end of the day, it's just a game, so don't let it be more than that. And I think that's a big thing. Don't let it become more than what it is, and just play your game.
Yeah.
Does Coach Hunt ever get upset? Does he
I
ever raise his voice?
He gets upset, but he keeps it at business level.
Business level.
Oh yeah, yes,
I like
sir.
that.
Is business level still effective about making you do everything possible to avoid hearing that tone of voice?
I'd definitely say it would. When he says something, everybody tends to listen when he's talking. So.
Yeah.
So, give us a little bit insight for the Rebels. But who is the comedian on this defense? Who's the guy that keeps things light and kind of cracks things up and keeps things from getting too serious?
Man, I'm trying to think. I'd like to say that the DBs are funny, but
Yeah.
I guess I'm partial to the DBs.
Yeah, the DBs they always have something to say.
We always got to joke. We're always joking.
Yeah.
The linebackers, I would say the linebackers are serious. I would say Dax can be pretty funny on occasion, but he's a little in-game. Dax is always locked in.
Yeah, he's locked.
So I'd say that the DBs are the funny guys on the field. I guess we dance a little and we try to be funny.
Okay, so and we're going to give Steve Bledsoe a little bit of a credit here, but is there you all know at this point what the Shield Stadium music is pretty much going to be. Is there a song you look forward to for timeouts or in pregame that you're like, oh, this one's on, that's a mood lightener? Because we saw this last week and we saw it again last night, but they started playing Party in the USA, and the entire stadium suddenly is putting their hands up in the air.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's definitely the song that gets us back into it.
I mean, I think we love any song, but when they were playing that one, that one was my favorite.
Yeah, it gets everybody in a good mood.
It's just a mood lightener, I guess.
It has to be, yeah.
I mean, I would have never picked that song if you'd given me a list back then. I would have never said that one's going to hang around, but yet it has.
It has.
And I don't know why,
It's endured.
but it's on every stadium's playlist right now, I think. Guys, congratulations on the win last night. I'm going to give you a chance. Anybody you want to give a shout-out to for some plays last night?
I think Dax Cole made some really good plays, and I think a few of our DBs, my other safety, Chase Tucker, he's an athlete, and he made some good tackles, and I think you're going to see – I mean, he's got another year. You're going to be seeing him a lot more this year and next year. And so I got high hopes for him. I'm trying to teach him everything I know. So I think you're going to see him a lot.
Yeah, I feel like Jackson Rutledge had a really good game last night. He had some really good tackles, really good plays, and also Dax Cole. He did really good. Yes, sir.
All right, guys, we appreciate you coming in this morning. I know we're asking teenagers to get up early on a Saturday morning after a football game, and that's not always the easiest thing for you guys to do, but we appreciate you coming in in Maryville gear and representing, so we appreciate it, and we wish you all the best of luck down the road.
And we'll see you down the road.
Yes, sir.
Sometime.
So we'll take a quick break here. When we return, we'll do the Boyd Sports Spotlight. You're listening to the Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925. Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
And welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern here in downtown Maryville. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons filling in for Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner. It's time to put Donnie Moore on the spot and run out the best of this week's headlines.
What
Donnie.
else is new, huh?
I know you've been sweating over a hot computer monitor trying to gather the best headlines around, help people in, and let them know what's going on. So, what have you got for us?
Well, let's just see what we have this week. As always, our sports headlines are brought to you by our friends at Fast Signs. Whoosh. And here we go. High-profile pass rusher Micah Parsons has so far a contract holdout, finally got the historic financial package he was after, agreeing to one that included a $188 million package for 4 years. $188 million. I'd like to make that much.
But who did he get it from?
Well, here's the thing. $120 million of that was guaranteed. A historic contract indeed. So Parson wins the tug-of-war with Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, right? Nope. Not so fast, my friends. On Thursday, Parsons was traded outright to Green Bay for all-pro defensive tackle Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. What do you think? You don't butt heads with Jerry Jones and win too often.
You don't, but at the same time,
but I'm not sure that was prudent.
Jerry makes his point, but you gave up Micah Parsons.
Yeah, right.
And I don't
probably
really
the best
care.
defensive player in the league.
You got an all-pro defender in exchange. You gave up Micah Parsons.
Indeed, you did.
You just literally turned Green Bay into a playoff contender.
A contender, that's right. That's exactly right. That's what I was thinking earlier. Because they're going to compete for.
I mean, they were already, not that
year.
Makes the team, but that's a piece that takes them defensively from being able to stop you to being able to hurt you.
Dominate you, yes, hurt you. You're exactly right. Well, we'll see how it goes, as I like to say.
And of course, he's got to have to adjust to.
Oh yeah, sure.
Being outside in Wisconsin from being indoors in Texas, but I mean, Jerry's place is air conditioned, but it's not that air conditioned. So there's some adjustment to be had, but I think he can make it.
He'll make it. University of Tennessee Knoxville men's basketball head coach Rick Barnes, 71 years of age, will remain in Knoxville for the remainder of his storied career after the school announced it signed the beloved coach to a lifetime contract on Thursday. Per Tennessee AD Danny White, and this is a quote, "Rick has taken our program to unprecedented heights, and we are absolutely thrilled to have him continue coaching on Rocky Top for the rest of his career. He has constructed this program the right way, achieving elite-level success on the court while also ensuring that all our players excel off the court." Pretty good quote.
That's a great quote. He doesn't put the asterisk on there under the NIL era.
Under the NIL, that's true.
Which hasn't been all of Barnes' tenure at UT.
It's young,
but
yes.
he has also proved himself very adept at the NIL era so far.
Yes, he has. Master of the transfer portal.
But I got to tell you, I am appalled, not because I do not like Coach Barnes, I am appalled that any school, for any reason, would consider the lifetime contract after how it went so badly for Kentucky.
Yes, it did.
That anybody would look at that situation and say, you know what? Let's try that.
Who knows? It may not work, but
We have yet to see the
I hope so.
lifetime contract work out for any school, or for that matter, any coach, to be a benefit for either party.
that's true. You're right.
Now, maybe Tennessee's going to set the exception to that rule. I just find that hard to believe.
Always a chance.
Because, I mean, what is your best outcome? Barnes has a heart attack on the sideline? I mean, I don't know what
heaven
I don't know.
forbid.
I don't know why you need to give us a lifetime contract to a 71-year-old coach. And I wish him the best of health and a long
I
life.
do too.
But why not give him a 10-year contract? It's pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's basically just a 3-year contract that keeps adding on 1 year at the end of every season.
Yes.
So
So,
don't
I
know.
mean, it's an automatic extension, which is the same thing as a lifetime contract.
yeah, sure it is.
But it also, I believe, keeps raising that buyout, too.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Well, it finally happened. Marcus, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce and pop music superstar Taylor Swift announced their engagement on Tuesday of this week.
Huh.
Yeah, imagine that.
Okay.
Kelce, a third-round pick of the 2013 NFL Draft, has spent his entire pro career with the Chiefs, and his bride-to-be has toured all over the world.
Yes.
So,
I've heard this.
Who hasn't? Philadelphia Phillies slugger Kyle Schwarber launched 4 home runs versus the Atlanta Braves on Thursday night, setting a team record with a 4-for-6 evening with 9 ribbies.
And, you know, I could not be happier for him.
Yeah.
Really.
Dude, great guy.
I hate it happened against the Braves. I'll say that.
Well,
but
yeah, of course, that's our local
We've-
team here.
since we saw Schwarber out here playing for the Smokies, we knew he was something special.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
And just because of some of the other people in the Phillies lineup, I am very glad that Schwarber had this kind of performance and has that record.
I hear you.
I would rather him have it than some of the other people
Yeah,
hitting
no
for
doubt.
the Phillies.
No doubt. This was the 21st 4-homer game in Major League Baseball history, though 3 of them have come this season.
Yes. It's been
Yeah.
the long ball.
Nick Kurtz of the Athletics did it last month, and Eugenio Suarez of Arizona, the Diamondbacks, did it in April, also versus the Braves.
Yeah. It's amazing how that keeps happening to Atlanta. And I'll tell you this. If they were still on TBS for every game, it wouldn't be happening,
You're right.
because that would be driving the TBS ratings. And the Braves never did anything that helped the TBS ratings. All their big moments came outside of TBS.
That's true. Well, Shiloh Sanders' future in football will remain a bit cloudy for now. Sanders, son of Pro Hall of Famer Colorado football coach Deion Sanders and brother of Cleveland rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, was not selected by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be one of the team's initial 17 practice squad players. Sanders was ejected from the Bucs preseason finale versus the Bills for punching tight end Zach Davidson, an incident that did not sit well with Bucs head coach Todd Bowles.
Huh.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah. Yeah, so he's he's still got a ways to look for a job in the NFL.
How do you feel about using that draft pick on him now?
No kidding, yeah.
I mean,
might have been wasted.
the whole debate at one point was he worthy of the number 1 overall pick?
Shedeur was,
Yes.
but Shiloh apparently not.
That's
say.
true. I'm confusing Sanders on that. and I don't want to confuse people.
Apparently not.
But yeah, there's just nothing really to say there. I
No.
mean, you just can't.
Let's just leave that and then see how it progresses. Ryan Blaney won the last regular season NASCAR Cup Series race last weekend at Daytona, taking the checkered flag on the Coke Zero Sugar 400. The final 2 spots in the 16-driver playoff field were claimed by Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman. The 10-race NASCAR Cup Series playoffs begin this weekend at Darlington Raceway, a 1.366-mile oval track in Darlington, South Carolina. 10 races in the playoffs.
Yes. Well, we got, what, 16?
Yeah, 16 drivers.
16 drivers.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it is what it is. NASCAR's trying.
They are.
They're trying. They're never going to recapture that energy.
No.
But I want to pick on the name, Donnie. Can I pick on the name?
Do it.
Coke Zero Sugar.
The Coke Zero Sugar 400.
If you had a product, would you want to market it as, we took all the natural stuff out, enjoy the chemicals?
Hey, as many people as drink sugar-free drinks nowadays.
I know, but you just to stick. Maybe we should give them credit for sticking it out there front and forward. We're all chemicals now. It's just it bothers me.
This is true. It's not.
You read that. Sometimes words bother me, and that just does because of what it implies. But anyway,
It's
Blaney,
all about selling what they want
Blaney
to sell.
qualifying was a great thing for
Oh
him.
yeah, sure.
I think it's going to make the playoffs a little more interesting, and I think it's going. Some of these, the way they've done the schedule, you're going to have some good tracks in those last 10 races. You've got Darlington. I think you've got another trip to Bristol in there. You've got
Sure.
You've got a couple short track races. It's not going to be the cookie cutter tracks in these last 10.
No.
So people are going to have to win it.
They are. You're right, and that'll bring the focus back to the drivers. So, like you said,
For better or worse.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because all the cars are pretty much the same.
Well, that's the sport of it.
That's right. Comes down to the drivers. Speaking of cars, IndyCar invades Nashville this weekend. And can you guess what takes place when the sport gets that close to us?
Mike
Correct.
Edwards shows up.
Correct. Goteez Sports Page co-host Mike Edwards is there for all the festivities along with his brother John. Have a great time, guys.
Yeah, had we missed having him do live reports this morning about what it's looking like? I'm sure there's a pit row or something that they are perusing right now and looking over the cars and talking to drivers. And knowing Mike, they're probably signing stuff for him.
They probably are. Well, John offered. He said they could come on and have a segment from Nashville. Hell, anyway, have a great time, guys. Fever guard Caitlin Clark has been ruled out of another regular season game, her 17th consecutive missed game. She's missed 25 games this season overall, Marcus.
Not the second year that she was hoping for.
No,
and the team
her
was
sophomore
hoping for.
season has not been what she had hoped, or anybody else had
But
hoped for that matter.
Ironically enough, I do not think the fan interest has faded,
Oh, I don't
even
think so
with
either.
her absence.
Mm-mm. No, I think the WNBA is more in the forefront now than it has been ever, in my opinion. No timeline has been given for Clark's return, but head coach Stephanie White says she is making definite progress. So maybe, who knows? Maybe she can be back.
I hope
the end of
she's
the season.
back. I hope because I hope she can have the kind of career that everybody was hoping for her. Because she's certainly somebody that's put in the work.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now, you may not like the way she plays in some ways, in some regards to how she does things.
Well, I don't
that's
like
a-
the way others play too.
That's a different subject, but
Yeah.
she's certainly capable of being a WNBA great. Legitimately,
you're
not just
exactly
because of her
right.
popularity, but because of what she's got the potential to do. I just hope she can stay healthy enough to at least give us an honest assessment of whether she can live up to that potential.
You and me both. Let's look at some things that happened on this day in sports, August 30th. My first item was sent to me by an old friend. 1967, This Week in Sports. The song Rocky Top was written in a Gatlinburg hotel room by husband and wife songwriters and performers Felice, and Boudleaux Bryant.
And the world will never be the same.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. 1967. So
there are just so many places you can go across this great nation where you can put that song on and make 15 people in the bar throw up.
and
Simply because they heard it so many times.
And
in
4 or 5 cheer.
Yeah. Because they were at a game where Tennessee played it 20 times because they were winning, and they don't ever want to hear it again.
Nope, you're
it's
right
associated
about
with the horrific memory in their childhood, and they just can't get over it.
All right, let's get to some things that happened on this day, August 30th, 1905. Tigers future Hall of Famer Ty Cobb makes his debut in center field and hits a double in the Tigers' win 5-3 over the New York Highlanders in Detroit.
The Highlanders.
The New York Highlanders. Yeah. Wow. 1906. Hal Chase is the first New York Yankee to hit 3 triples in one game.
A triple-triple.
Yeah, a triple-triple.
Okay.
Sure did. 1922. Babe Ruth was ejected from a game, his 5th of the season, or 5th of the career, I imagine it was. The 5th time he'd been ejected from a game. 1937, Joe Louis decisions Tommy Farr in 15 rounds for the heavyweight title.
15 rounds.
15 rounds. That's a long time.
If we see a
boxing match,
a fight event that is worth watching go more than 5 rounds these days.
I know. We think we get our money's worth.
Can you imagine what 15 rounds would do to pay-per-view?
15 rounds. Good grief.
I mean, Netflix would have an all-time high for viewership if they had something like that happen.
Yeah.
People would – there's enough time for you to call somebody and say, you got to tune into this.
Yeah, turn on your set. You got to watch this. 1960, jumping to 1960, Red Sox second baseman Pete Runnels goes 6 for 7 in a game. Pretty good hitting.
Yeah, I would say so. That's the kind of day you dream about. You just got to wonder. But, the next day he was like, how did I not get number 7? How did I miss one?
What if? 1961, Oriole pitcher Jack Fisher walks 12 Los Angeles Angels in a 9-inning game.
Oh, just 12 total?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he walked 12 in a row.
No.
But
in a 9-inning game.
I was going to be real impressed with that.
That's still pretty good, walking 12.
I'd be like, how'd the
the
manager leave him in there to walk 12 in a row?
Yeah, no kidding, because he stayed in for 9 innings. 1965, New York Mets manager Casey Stengel retires after a 56-year career in professional baseball.
One of the greats.
No doubt. No doubt. 1979, we'll jump ahead a little bit here. John McEnroe defeats Ilia Nastase in the U.S. Open 6-4, 4-6, 6-3, 6-2 in 4 sets.
And, we don't really talk about tennis a lot on this show.
No.
But the U.S. Open is one of those events that's going on.
Oh, it's amazing.
That it has a following. I've got several friends who are not only avid tennis
players
followers and watch more than the majors, and several of them actually live in that area. And this is an annual event. This is their football season.
Sure.
This is what they look forward to for the fall. This is what they go do, and they have the same enthusiasm and investment as what people around here have for the balls.
Right.
Ball football.
Exactly. Oh, tennis is a huge sport worldwide.
I mean, and a lot of people play it, but at the same time, that level of investment in the professional league is kind of eclectic and
it is.
tribal in where
sure.
you see it.
For sure.
So you don't see it as much here, but there are places that it is all-consuming.
You're exactly right. You know what Ilia Nastase's nickname was, don't you?
No.
Nasty. That's what they called him. Never saw a smile on his face.
Well, if you got that, you're kind of playing on the name anyway.
Oh,
so you might as well live up
it's
to
a
the
play.
image.
Sure, yeah.
As soon as the first time you hear it, you're going to lean into that.
Exactly. 1981, Bill Shoemaker you know that name, becomes the first jockey to win a $1 million race as John Henry wins the Arlington Million. Bill Shoemaker.
Milestone there.
Great jockey. 1987, Ben Johnson of Canada sets the world record for the 100-meter dash, 9.83 seconds. But the gold was awarded to American Carl Lewis when Johnson is DQ'd.
And that was what year?
That was 1987.
Yeah, that was when they were going back and forth between Lewis and Johnson,
Mhm.
and there were always insinuations about chemicals on both,
Yep.
going both directions.
I agree. Yeah, there
I'm
were.
not going to say that it was one-sided.
who knows?
There were lots of allegations between the rivalry between those two, but the thing we did see out of that was, I think by the time those two were done, the world record had dropped by almost a tenth of a second over the course of about a 4-year period.
Yeah, there were a lot of new world records set during that period. 1987, again, Twins center fielder Kirby Puckett goes 6 for 6 with 2 homers in one game.
Another great performance.
Oh, he could hit it, I'm telling
But
you.
he also didn't go home saying, "Oh, I didn't ever got number 7."
No, exactly. He achieved. 1991, USA's Mike Powell sets the long jump record of 29 feet 4.5 inches. He was a great jumper.
You got to be able to clear that. I mean, you're almost jumping for a first down.
Yeah, you're flying almost. 1997 was the first WNBA championship. The Houston Comets defeated the New York Liberty 65-51.
You know, it's a different era for the WNBA. They've come so far from where they started.
They have. You're exactly right.
We were just talking about Caitlin Clark, but I remember what the novelty was when they first started, and so many questions about whether they'd even survive to get to that first.
Oh yeah, the first.
If that whole season was going to make it all the way through, yeah.
2006, Braves pitcher and legend Greg Maddux wins career game number 330 on this day. Maddux was
something
incredible.
special. He was
Yeah,
part
he
of that great lineup
that
in the
great
late 90s.
rotation. Yeah,
And I don't think, I mean, he was not. He did not have a baby face. I think people thought he was older than he was in the 90s.
So too, yeah.
I think they attributed him to being the same age as Smoltz and some of those other guys, and he was the baby of that group.
Yeah, he was. Well, I got a few birthdays for you here, just a few. Born on this day in 1918, a guy that not too many people recognize. His name's Ted Williams.
Who's that?
Yeah, really. Red Sox Hall of Famer, born in San Diego, California, and died in 2002. Ted Williams, one of the greatest.
Yep.
1944, Tug McGraw was born on this day. Major League pitcher and father of Tim McGraw, country music singer.
I was going to ask if there was the connection there.
Yep, father of Tim. Born in Martinez, California, and died in 2004.
So his greatest claim to fame is he's Faith Hill's father-in-law?
I would imagine so.
That was a joke, Donnie.
Yeah, well, I know. I read you, brother. 1953, basketball center Robert Parrish was born on this day. Celtics and Bulls for his career. Born in Shreveport, Louisiana. He is now 71 years old.
Great player.
He was.
He was one of the last true athletic centers that we saw.
I concur. And then the last one I have is 1982, born on this day, Andy Roddick. Go back to tennis. American tennis player. Won the 2003 U.S. Open. Born in Austin, Texas. And he is 42 years old today. That's all for this week's Sports Headlines, brought to you by the fine folks at Fast Signs. I'm Donnie Moore. Back to you, Marcus.
Well, thanks, Donnie. We got a little bit of time left before we go into
do.
our bold predictions. And we kind of skipped over the SEC a little bit, so I want to run down a little bit what's happening on your TV today and also recap what happened last night and the night before. So if you were watching on Thursday, Missouri opened the SEC slate
Yes, they did.
with a 61-6 win over UCA. And I will
Not
admit
much competition there.
that I did not recognize who UCA was since they'd gone to the acronym. Had somebody just put down that they were playing Central Arkansas, I would have known who that was.
Of course.
But UCA, I thought they were leaving a letter out of it and that I'd missed something.
Yeah.
But the Tigers, and I may be wrong here, but I believe SEC roll call went to Mizzou for this game. If you watch Facebook, SEC roll call is I won't give him too many props, but a comedian who plays the faces of every SEC team and does a rather entertaining job of it. But often makes fun of Missouri, and he did tease that he was planning to be there. I don't know if that actually happened or if he survived. But Missouri gets a 61-6 win, and their transfer quarterback from Penn State, Bo Prubula, 23 of 28, 283 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Pretty good day.
And he also ran for 65 yards and 2 more touchdowns. So I mean,
Goodness.
Congratulations.
Really good day.
Congratulations for beating up on Central Arkansas.
Yeah, really.
All we can say is that cupcake did not go bad on them. Last night, Auburn puts maybe a little bit of a notch forward for the SEC after an offseason of some bruises, but 38-24 win over Baylor. Now, neither team's ranked, but it's still a win. And Auburn's, ironically, Jackson Arnold, who ball fans should recognize, the transfer from Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Starts for Auburn. Ran for 137 of Auburn's 300 yards rushing, scored 2 touchdowns. And then Tigers also got a 98-yard kickoff return from Rashawn Pleasant to win that game. But today's slate, now you may not know this, Donnie.
All right, enlighten me.
But did you know there are some other games going on? They're kicking off at noon today besides Tennessee and Syracuse?
I had absolutely no idea.
I did not either until I looked at it. And it shocked me. But if you are interested, you could put your other TV, or if you're going out somewhere, you could ask the bartender to put this up on the other TV. They're going to have it on both places here.
If you'd come down to the
at
Bluetick Tavern, where we're hosting, they host us so admirably every week.
I think we counted. They've got like 12 TVs here in the main room. One of them is actually not going to be on the Tennessee game. They're going to have this other contest. It's got Texas at Ohio State.
Oh, that one should remain in the background anyway. No, I'm just.
I mean,
that's a
number
premier
1 Texas,
game.
number 3 Ohio State. I think some people are going to be interested.
I think you're right.
Especially
since there's a Manning playing.
Yes, and along that same line, same caliber at noon on ESPN, Mississippi State's going to Southern Miss.
It may or may not be a good game.
I'm still intrigued by the fact that Mississippi State did a contract for home and away with Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Southern Miss is a homecoming cupcake. I mean, they're better.
True that.
They're one of the better cupcakes out there, and they can give you a test, which doesn't make them always popular.
Yeah.
But they also have a huge fan base, and they show up for these games because they always think they can pull the upset.
They really do.
Tennessee doesn't schedule them anymore, if you've noticed.
No.
Not since the 90s. But it intrigues me that they got an SEC team to come to their place.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Get a home and home contest with them. That's, contract.
So
it's pretty awesome.
And I think the 3:30 highlight, even though it's not between top 25 teams, you've got Alabama who's at number 8.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to Florida State for a 3:30 ABC game. They'll come on right after Tennessee's game.
Wonder who will be watching that one. That would be our boss, Brian Johnston.
Yeah, I suppose he would. He might have an interest in that game.
He's a Seminole fan from way back.
And then the night game, you've got LSU and Clemson playing, which you're going to You're going to have some interest in that one.
Go Tigers, huh?
Something like that.
In that one.
And then, as I said earlier in the first hour, the Sunday special, the second game in the Aflac kickoff, is Virginia Tech taking on South Carolina in Atlanta, and that's at 3 o'clock on Sunday.
Okay.
Because remember, we don't have NFL tomorrow. They don't start for another week, so
this is true.
there's several Sunday games that are spotted in there that are filling those NFL holes and getting people back accustomed to their schedule of getting up and going to church and then going to watch the NFL.
I like it.
You got to ease back into football's
you
return. You know, there's a stage to this. You've got to go through high school, then you get a little bit of college next week, then you get the NFL,
You get to the
and then you can feel like you've worked your way back up to the full 4-day schedule of football, so you can make it all the way and carry through all the way to the Super Bowl.
Precisely.
So, should we go ahead and take that last break before we go into bowl predictions?
Yeah, we can do that. It's we're a little bit past time, but that's okay. I know we
Okay, we'll go ahead and take the break now. When we return, it's the Shelter Insurance Bold Prediction segment. You're listening to the Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net.
And welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern here in downtown Maryville. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons, and it's time for this week's Shelter Insurance Bold Predictions.
The Roger L. Newman Company.
And the way we're going to start this off
The
is
Roger
that we
L.
have
Newman.
Sorry, Marcus.
oh.
It keeps wanting to play.
Well, your iPad likes you, Donnie.
It does.
It's accustomed to your loving touch, and it just keeps wanting to restart over and over and over again for you.
But I have a handle on it now.
Okay. So we kind of played with this a little bit. Donnie, without the benefit of having the first game under the belt, if you're going to give Tennessee a win total, what's the win total for this season? Going in blind, not knowing what they're going to do today.
I would say they're going to win. They have the capability of winning 9 games.
You're going with 9.
Regular season.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going with 7.
7. Pessimist.
And that is me. That's me being generous because I really want to say a 6, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say 7.
Goodness.
Which is ironically about where I pegged last year. So you can take that with what it's worth.
There we go.
So going in the Charlie Paleo, who is, we can still pick on Coach even though he's not here.
He's probably listening.
We've never let it stop us from picking on him before.
Nope.
So knowing his general grain and thoughts on things, I'm going to say he would give us a 12.
By all means.
12 out of 15 possible.
Yeah, by all means. That sounds about right for Charlie. He's an optimist.
I think he would go with a 10-win regular season and 2 playoff games. That's just. And I'm sure he's going. I'm sure he's going to text one of us here shortly, and I will enjoy that.
I can see that happening.
Mike Edwards.
Let's see. What are the Greenfield Gunner? What will he do?
I think he was going to. I think he would be at a 9. I think he would be 9 out of 12.
I'd say that's highly possible.
Could be wrong. He can correct us next week, but that's his penalty for not being here this week and choosing racing over the sports page.
Somebody gets to pick for him.
Yes. But for our last couple minutes here, Donnie, I was hoping we'd have some other folks show up to help us close up. And, you know, our panel's a little bit busy this holiday weekend.
Yeah.
But for the folks at home, you can go ahead and groan because when Mike's not here, I get to pick the closing game. And it's time for another edition of What's More Likely.
Ooh, I like it.
So we're going to
Let's
put
jump
you.
right in.
We're going to put you on the spot, and I'll be nice and give you my response as well.
Okay.
Instead of just putting you on the spot about it. But if you're not familiar, I'm going to give the two options, and you will tell us what is more likely to happen.
What is more likely to happen? All right, here we
So,
go.
number one, going over the schedule we just went through, close of the last segment. Which is more likely, Donnie? LSU, Texas, and Alabama will all win today, or LSU, Texas, and Alabama will all lose today. Which is more likely?
Well, I really think it's going to be a combination of some of the above, but more likely is that they all are going to win today.
I would like to say you're right.
But you can't, huh?
But I cannot. Because I can see the outcome where all three of these teams lose.
Oh, I can see it too.
Given how their record in openers and how the conference matchup will go.
Yeah.
And the intrigue it would create for all those conspiracy mongers out there who think this whole thing is scripted. I'm sure they can see where that would make a great lead in for a great comeback story. Let's get the hardship out of the way in the opener.
Well, that's why I said go Tigers a few minutes ago, because they're both playing Tigers today.
So I will take the opposite side of that one. But
okay.
I think we could see it go either way, and I think you're right that we're going to get a split out of there. But I think that will be the subject come Sunday and Monday as to what we hear as to how those three games play out.
I would imagine you're correct.
Okay, so what is more likely? Arch Manning throws for 300 or more yards against Ohio State today. Or on the other station, Joey Aguilar throws for 300 or more yards against Syracuse. Which is more likely, Donnie?
It is more likely, in my humble opinion, that Joey Aguilar is going to throw for 300 yards. I don't think Arch can throw against that Ohio State defense as well as he would like to.
And I'm going to agree. I will say this, though. I don't know that Arch is – I think Joey is more likely to be able to throw for 300. I think Arch is more capable of accounting for 300 or more yards of total offense.
Yeah, I think so, too. And that could happen.
Because he is the best runner since his grandfather of the group. The running ability kind of escaped that generation of Peyton and Eli and Cooper to a degree. But Arch can run.
Yes, he can.
Okay. And I'll try to be quick about them because I know we're getting close to the clock. But come tonight, when the clock strikes midnight tonight, which is more likely? The ghost of Bobby Bowden rises up and takes over at Florida State to save his alma mater. Or the Alabama fan base has made a ghost out of Kalen DeBoer. Which of these things is more likely at the stroke of midnight tonight?
Although the Bobby Bowden thing rising up to save his nation is fairly likely, in my opinion, I think the alternative is more likely to happen. Kalen DeBoer is.
I think
he's
in the
long
case
for
of
the
this
job.
season, you are correct. I don't know if it'll be tonight.
No, I don't know.
But you feel the disappointment, and it is potent.
Oh, it's palpable. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You can feel the simmering discontent because the standard has been so high for so long. So, like when you go down I-65, you know when you've hit the state line.
Yes, you do.
Because it's gone from hopeful to
Tentative at best.
arrogant dread.
Yeah.
They still say the same things, but they don't have the conviction they used to.
I tend to agree.
Okay, so last one.
Okay.
What's more likely to happen today? Nico falls asleep before playing against Utah at that 11 p.m. kickoff tonight? Or the SEC Plus crew falls asleep before the end of the LIU Florida game?
I'm thinking that the SEC crew is going to go down first tonight.
I am going to agree with you. I'm going to give Nico the benefit of the doubt.
I do
that
too.
Since he's a West Coast boy, he's adapted to West Coast time, and so it's 8 o'clock start for him, 11 o'clock for us. But that LIU Florida game, I do not see turning into something sparking a lot of interest.
Nor do
After
I.
the first 10 minutes. I mean, you only watch a hot dog eating contest for a couple minutes. You're not. I mean, who wants to watch that for 3 hours?
Yeah, even Joey Chestnut can't draw you for 3 hours.
So that wraps it up. You want to go ahead and you got your toot with you?
I do. I don't.
You do not.
My goodness.
I've been wondering. I've been waiting for 2 hours now to see if I could tag you with this.
I should have gone back out and got it, but anyway.
Well, we're going to pretend.
We're going to pretend that the whistle has blown.
Already. So, and that's not the final whistle, but it will do it for today's edition of the Sports Page.
That's right.
Thanks to Aaron Ishmael back at Loud Media, our host here at the Bluetick Tavern, and all of our sponsors. For Donnie Moore, the absent Mike Edwards, and for all of the panelists who are enjoying their Labor Day weekend. Until next Saturday, this is Marcus Fitzsimmons wishing everyone good sports.
And that's the final whistle. Join us again next Saturday for the Goteez Sports Page. The best in local sports since 1960.